Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's happening, all of you tactical techs out there? Great having you on this podcast today. It's been about a week, so been trying to get on here and just do another podcast because I've been thinking about. In fact, a book that I'm reading right now has actually got me thinking about how it relates to our industry, how it relates to our skill levels. Excuse me, I'm testing my mic here as well. How it relates to people's skill levels in our industry. And it's very, very interesting, okay? It's actually written by a couple Navy SEALs, and it's called Stealing Fire. Now, it gets a little bit woo-woo towards the end of the book, you know what I mean? But the beginning is what I was really interested in. You know, the first probably 25% of the book, it actually got me thinking a lot about flow states and how you achieve that flow state while you're doing dent removal. I'm going to give you guys a little story. The first time I was introduced to flow state was actually during my first hailstorm. So, you know, like many of you guys who might have went out on the road and kind of began your career with hail, we always have that very first storm, and usually the cars are absolutely destroyed. And my journey was no different. But when I got there, I kept hearing about this thing. People were talking about getting in their groove, okay? So in a sense, one day you could be in your groove. The next day you might not be in your groove. By the end of the week, you may be totally burnt out, and you can't even get back into that groove that you can actually repair and fix hail cars like so effortlessly and fluently that it looks like it just takes little to no effort on your behalf. One of the better guys that I've ever seen get in this flow state is a friend of mine named Justin Fowler. And Justin, at the time, I want to say he was 24, but he was trained by his father, and his brother James was trained by his father as well. And another guy that I was working with, you guys might have heard, Michael Meggs, was trained by Justin's father as well. Now, all of them phenomenal techs. But at that time, Justin was one of the dudes who, before he even came to a storm, he was just talked about. I mean, before he even showed up to that storm, people were talking, telling stories about him, how fast he was, and, basically how amazing of a technician he was. And when he got to this storm, I mean, guys, the cars were absolutely destroyed. And watching this dude work was quite amazing. I mean, literally, he lived up to all the stories that were being told about him at that time. So when he gets there, I'm watching it, and it's like he's just effortlessly attacking these destroyed hail cars, and really doesn't look like it's bothering him, like day to day. At that time, it was my first hailstorm, and it was grueling for me. I mean, literally, everything, it took a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and a lot of effort. And then I look over at Justin, and he looks like he's just riding a bike. You know what I mean? Like, it literally looks like he's working and moving like a well-oiled machine. And to kind of like go back to the book, they talk about that being this flow state that people go into, talking about being that being one of the major qualifications to become a Navy SEAL. So a lot of people think that to become a Navy SEAL, you just got to be this really tough dude who can, pretty much like live through Hell Week and, all these things that you got to go through to become a Navy SEAL. But one of the big qualifications for becoming a Navy SEAL is they watch to see if you can actually, or if that Navy SEAL can merge with the team. And when I mean merge with the team, basically meaning that when they go into warfare, they actually their minds will blend together and they'll move as one. So a lot of people, I know that's kind of crazy, like their minds will blend together and they'll move as one. So in a sense, they can communicate without communicating. Literally, they feel each other and they understand each other and they're able to merge. So that's one of the big things. In fact, back in the day, SEAL Team 6, one of the keys to doing that is the team captain, or the leader of SEAL Team 6 would literally take all of his guys out the night before a big mission and get them just hammered, at a bar. So that way, any tension between the men or the group would just come out during, during an alcoholic, spree would come out, and they would be able to kind of like fight it out, get it over with. So the next day when they go into their mission, they would actually be able to merge. There'd be no tension among the group. You see that it's very popular in a lot of sports teams and things like that. I mean, you can obviously see it. I think all of us have gotten into the flow state. I know there's times when, I played with my basketball team and all of a sudden, like, you could feel the people on the court and you just gelled together. All right. So there's a lot of words for that flow state. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that this industry is no different. So there's a point that you can actually get to when you understand the strong fundamentals. And you understand that, you don't have anything blocking your flow. Okay, so that's what you're looking for as a technician. You're looking to become a technician that doesn't have something that blocks your flow. So when you're out there repairing a dent, if you've got to stop and you've got to literally, you're going in uncharted waters and you don't know where to go or what to do to move this dent further along. Right there, you've got something that is blocking your flow. So it's stopping you from getting in that flow state that you want to actually become a technician who can get the repair work done quick, who can get the repair work done flawlessly or close to flawlessly, and who can move forward in just about any conditions. That's one of the big things that during my training that, here's the deal. If the person, when they come to me, if they don't understand the fundamentals, you can't move any further than that. I mean, you have to ingrain these fundamentals or these principles of dent removal pretty much in your DNA to the point to where, in a sense, when you're working a dent and you're grappling your way to beating this dent or fixing this dent, that you don't have anything that will block you, like a lack of knowledge. And that's all in the fundamentals, that fundamental base. That's what builds the confidence to move forward in any dent removal. So that being said, that's why a lot of people, in fact, me being one of them, I mean, gosh, if I could go back and look, I really wish that I would have sought some sort of outside training, because I went through literally 6 years of complete hell. Literally 6 years of complete hell every day, grappling my way through dents. And it was just a trial and error system that I had to go through, And if I could go back and actually, at that time could have paid somebody to coach me along, that would have been something really intelligent to do. But I wasn't that smart back then. In fact, I didn't understand the principle of time versus money. And that's a huge principle that I finally understood at one point. And it's actually gotten me so much further in life. In the last probably 3 years that I've understood this fundamental principle, I've just moved so rapidly from where I was to where I am now. And what that principle is basically, you've got two things, okay? Like literally, like money replenishes itself, right? So every month, whatever it is, you got 4, you got 10,000, you got 20,000, you got $100,000 coming in every month, right? Well, that replenishes each and every month. It keeps coming back. You can continuously make more. So we get caught in this rut where we don't want to spend it to accelerate the amount of time that we have invested in something. That's the dumbest thing that you can possibly do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because time doesn't replenish, okay? Money replenishes. Money comes back. Time, the time with your family, the time with your loved ones, the time with your children, the time that just going out and freaking having fun, that stuff doesn't come back, man. All right, so you got a choice here. I mean, either you look, there's two ways. You can either pay your way in or spend the time that it takes to get in, right? And as I got older, I finally realized that, you know what? I don't have that much time, but I have money. And believe me, guys, if one person who spends a lot of it to go towards my educational level and to get me up to par really quick. I mean, we're known for flying in coaches from Alaska that literally, just a day of his time is, was that $25,000? But how quick will that move me towards my goal? Okay. Do we want to spend $25,000 on a one-day coaching session? All right. And get me 2, 3, 4 years ahead of the game? Or do I want to spend 4 years literally digging in and researching and doing everything on my own to end up, I mean, that's 4 years of time versus $25,000. Now, I'm not no mathematician, but I'm pretty good at percentages. I'm pretty good at counting money. And that just doesn't equal up. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say it again, guys. As Warren Buffett has coined, invest in yourself, because that's one thing that nobody can take away from you. If you can invest in yourself, you can move yourself forward quickly, do it, because I'm telling you guys, all you're doing when you're collecting money is you're trying to buy time. You're trying to buy freedom, okay? Well, I'm telling you what, if you can take it and you can you can accelerate your learning curve, and by all means do it, okay? And to tie all this into the core message that I'm talking about here about flow state is that try to get there as quickly as you possibly can. Try to get to the point where when you do it, it's effortless, okay? Try to get to the point when you do it, you don't even have to think anymore, all right? Because that's where the hidden treasure lies. So that's the gold pot at the end of the rainbow that you're moving towards. You want to get into that flow state. You want to be a technician that moves flawlessly. You want to live your life with less effort, less energy being spent. So that way you can take that energy and you can take that effort and you can spend it somewhere in time where it really matters. That's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and check out of this podcast. I appreciate you. And check the book out. Like I said, it gets a little weird towards the end. Just a heads up on that. I mean, they do a lot of talk about psychedelics and stuff like that towards the end. And like I said, it's a book written by some Navy SEALs, but it's really, really good. And they also talk about things like Google, how Google is using the same techniques as the Navy SEALs to get their engineers up to par, get them into that flow state. But essentially, it's all about getting into that flow state and the intelligence that can actually be found in that state. So there it is, y'all. Appreciate you. And as usual, I'm going to see you on the next one.